We'll go ahead and get started. We're missing Commissioner Lawson, but we have a quorum. So, welcome to the Silver City Planning and Zoning Commission of Tuesday, December 3rd, 2013. If we could begin, if everyone would stand and we could do the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Mrs. Embuth, would you do roll call, please?
Commissioner Clements?
Here.
Commissioner Stevens?
Here.
Commissioner Furby?
Here.
Commissioner Lawson? Commissioner Waterman?
Here.
Okay, next on the agenda will be approval of the agenda for the evening. Anybody have any changes? Have you had a chance to look it over, anything?
Approve the agenda presented.
Second. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Okay. The agenda for this evening is approved. Has everyone here had a chance to look over the minutes from the November meeting? Yes. Were there any changes or edits or questions on those? None noted. Anyone want to move to approve?
I move that we approve the minutes of November 5th.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. Next, we have a couple of plaques to give, and if we could have Mr. Nick Seibel and Mr. Carl Waterman come up.
What is it?
Okay. All right. I'll have you each hold your plaque if you want to make sure everything's spelled right. I guess what I want to say, I've worked with Nick for a couple of years here. Mr. Waterman, Carl, you've been here just about a year. But I do know that your community that you were here, lived before here, you did a lot of things with the community. So you've both given service for many years in various communities and on various types of committees and commissions. And first of all, I want to say volunteer work is really appreciated, really something to be respected. People willing to give their time for the community, that's just a tremendous, tremendous thing, and you will both be missed. I also want to make the statement that I really enjoyed on the commission here, the questions, the comments, the way you've approached cases, the way you've approached people coming in with requests, because I think you've both taken things very seriously. You look at each issue in depth, and I have learned from each of you in my time with you. So thank you very, very much for your time with the commission.
Thank you.
Thank
you very much.
Okay, I believe this evening we have a public hearing with a request for a conditional use permit. We'll go ahead and read it here. To allow telecommunications antennas to be attached to an existing pole in a rural zone. The pole is located at 1955 Hilltop Road in Silver City, and the applicant is Verizon Wireless. And Mr. Russell, I believe you have the presentation. Oh, witnesses swearing in. I guess, yeah, did you want to do that? We have witnesses. Anybody who would like to speak, if you would come forward and be sworn in.
I state your name.
I, Peter Russell, Raj Destry,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that the testimony I am about to give
that the testimony I'm about to give
will be the truth,
will be the truth,
the whole truth,
and nothing but the truth,
and nothing but the truth,
under penalty of perjury.
penalty of perjury.
And real quick, before Mr. Russell starts, just need to ask everyone on the commission if anyone has had any ex parte conversations regarding this evening's request. Okay, all right, Mr. Russell, thank you.
Members of the commission, I'm here to make a presentation on a conditional use permit. It's been a long time since I've made a presentation before the commission. I hope you bear with me in any... First of all, I guess I should turn on the microphone. I hope you bear with me in any sort of errors of delivery that I make. I have given you a staff report in your packet. You've received some other materials from the applicant. I had hoped to have a PowerPoint presentation, but the battery died on our computer, and I cannot open the computer without having the fingerprint of someone who has since retired from the department. And so we will get that computer working as soon as possible, but I won't be able to do it tonight, so there won't be any PowerPoint presentation of the pictures. However, the pictures pertinent to this application are in your packet, and so I'll refer to them as I go through this. Essentially, the applicant is seeking to add some antennas to the existing Verizon tower that is located at the Southwest Concrete plant that is directly behind this building. That is nominally a rural zone, as denoted on this picture, but in practice, it's really industrial. It's a concrete plant. The tower was established through a conditional use a long time ago, and the applicant, I believe it was in 2011, came forward for a conditional use to add some antennas to the tower, and was approved by the commission at that time, but they did not act within 1 year, and so the approval lapsed. And that's common for permits that the commission awards. If no action is taken on them within a year, they lapse. So they have resubmitted their application. They're really adding new equipment to an existing structure, and normally it wouldn't require a conditional use permit because the structure already has the conditional use permit. However, a condition of the original approval for the structure in the rural zone was that no exterior antennas would be added to it. All the antennas currently are inside the tower, which is a pole tower, and originally it had a large flag, and the idea was to disguise the cell tower as a large flagpole. That was common about 10 years ago. I don't know if that's a common practice much anymore. But because the conditional use originally awarded said no exterior antennas, we're bringing it forward to you again because there will be an exterior antenna. In our opinion, and we did send out notices to the people within a 300-foot radius, and we received no comment. And the applicant also sent out notices and received no comments. So based on the fact that the tower exists, that there is no opposition, that it was approved previously by the council, and is only before you again because the applicant didn't take any action, we recommend the approval. The last image I have is to be held this way. It's not a very clear image, but I think there's a better picture in the actual handout that the applicant provided. And about, I don't know, 3/4 of the way up the tower, there's this little tutu-like looking feature on the tower itself. I guess he can tell you what it's called specifically, but the visual intrusiveness is very modest. So given the modesty, the lack of opposition, the previous approval, we recommend approval again. I'm happy to answer any questions.
So the diagram that you just referred to, there are the 6 antennas right there around right around?
They are not there currently. Those are what they propose to put in.
Right, but I mean, they would be right in that single spot on the,
Yes, ma'am.
oh, okay, thank you.
So, any antennas that are existing in there are inside it currently, and it's being used as a flagpole?
No, the idea was to hide its true function and pretend it was a flagpole so that it wouldn't,
Is there a flag flying?
no.
Oh, okay, I just...
There hasn't been a flag in several years.
Okay. I didn't know if there was rules about flagpoles. I know flags, you have to have them lit at night, et cetera, and I didn't
Right.
think they had rules about
You know-
flagpoles.
I don't know if all those rules were abided by. I think that a lot of the people are so reliant on their cell service now that the towers are kind of a normal visual artifact in the environment. Not necessarily in all the neighborhoods, but certainly in some of the industrial areas and on the hilltops around town. There are several others outside of town, but of course our and just on the edge, you can see them to the west of town, but that's outside our zoning jurisdiction.
So when they applied in 2005, it looks like there were conditions, and one of the conditions was that it could not have anything on the exterior. So the
Right.
2005 one that was approved would have been on the interior, and this one will be on the exterior.
Well, so there are still, as I understand it, there are several service companies that use the tower and have their own antenna within it. I think Sprint is one and Verizon is another. And so the multiple sharing of the tower will continue.
I can specifically address that in
Okay.
depth.
But currently, all the antennas are inside the shaft of the tower. And this application will have those 6 antennas on the exterior.
If the tower has multiple ones in it from various companies, who is responsible for just the pole itself?
The applicant. They have a letter from the owner of the tower, and maybe he can...
Would the
Okay.
commission like
Certainly,
me to
certainly.
answer these questions? My name is Reg Destry. I'm with Reliant Land Services at 3200 North Hayden Road, Scottsdale, Arizona, representing Verizon Wireless. Thank you for hearing our case tonight. The pole that's there now is a 100-foot tall pole. The top 30 feet is called a radome. It's the white bit that's at the top. That allows RF energy to go through it, unlike steel. It's plastic, basically. It's fiberglass. There are 3 carriers up there right now. At the top is Sprint, below that is ComNet, and then the third one down is T-Mobile. Verizon's not currently on that site. Verizon's currently located on 2 of the sites just outside of town, 2 of the bigger towers out there. We're proposing to do basically what was approved last time, and Verizon has coverage in town. These antennas are meant to improve the coverage and especially improve the capacity there's 4G service here already, but to help improve that capacity, we need these additional antennas. Originally, this was a flag. It was originally designed, and these were somewhat common 5-10 years ago. As of about 5 years ago, they became rather uncommon because there's definite constraints in locating inside each of those canisters. So every 10 feet is a separate area. So that's why there's Sprint, ComNet, and then T-Mobile. They each only have 3 antennas total inside that canister. It's not a very effective way to operate a site, and it really limits the capacity that the site can handle. So that's why the flagpoles are not particularly prominent anymore. Another issue is the lighting, maintenance of the flag, the fact that there could be a 30-foot flag up there. I mean, generally on a pole this size, it would be a 30-foot tall flag. I mean, nothing draws attention quite like that. It doesn't look quite like a cell phone tower when it's got the big flag, but it says, hey, look at me. And it looks almost more out of place now to have something like that than a cell phone tower, just because there are a lot of cell phone towers around. So, I mean, this is almost amazing to me that Verizon will be the 4th carrier on this pole. And the pole is actually owned by a company called SBA Communications. They're a national tower company. They are the ones that maintain the pole. one of the stipulations we had last time was that we would paint that radome that's white, we would paint it gray, and I'm assuming that's going to be a stipulation again to just help try and kind of match the color all the way through there. So, were there any other specific questions you had about the site?
Well, so as technology changes, and if down the road we don't need the poles anymore, and Sprint goes out, then, I can't remember the other two go out, then you're last, but it's that other company that maintains the pole, that they would be responsible for removing the pole at that point then, not...
Yeah, SBA Communications is the owner of that pole, and if for some reason it was not being used anymore, they're the ones that would be removing it.
Okay, thank you.
I'd be amazed if that ever happened.
What's the elevation of the base of the tower compared to the rest of the site? Is that on the lower part of the lot?
No, it's not down low on the lot. It's at probably a higher point on the lot. Most of the concrete area has actually been dug down. I don't know if they quarried out maybe 10 or 20 feet, but most of the concrete operations probably 10 to 15 feet lower elevation.
Okay, well, the reason I asked the original permit, the tower or modification limited to 100 feet, and I don't know if you don't really have to consider the radome a modification of the tower, but that puts it up to 101.7 according to your...
Well, and yeah, what's putting it up there is that little ball at the top, which obviously makes sense for a flagpole, and if you'd like us to take that off when we're painting it, I'm sure SBA would be fine with that, and Verizon would...
I don't have any objections to it, I was just curious.
Yeah, I was over there today, I'm like, there's a brass ball on top of a white can on top of a gray stick. Could probably make it all the same color.
Any other questions from any other commission? Anything else that you would like to add?
No, I don't know if any of you were on the commission last time I was here. I apologize, we didn't get it built in time. The antennas this time are a couple feet shorter, which is nice. But, yeah, I have really nothing else. I mean, if there are questions, I can answer them. Otherwise, it seems fairly straightforward. It's...
Okay, thank you.
The other thing I would add is, they're here this evening because of the zoning question of, the condition, but the installation of the tower will require a building permit of them, and they'll also be working with the Construction Industries Division on the electrical permit. So there's some additional oversight that the town or the state will have on this particular facility.
Okay, thank you.
Did you consult with the various town departments like you usually do?
We didn't, because this is the third go-around on this, and there was no opposition. We did talk to the building inspector about it, but there's no water, there's no different road access, there's no police issue, so we did not do that.
I noticed that you did consult those departments in the previous...
Right. The feeling is that we're streamlining a little bit. If it's a project I've already looked at and already have signed off on, and there's no substantive difference, we don't do that as much.
Yeah, I just had a little bit of a concern that, things can change with time, so 2 years later, there might be some reason that they, so that was just a concern a little bit of mine.
I understand.
Other questions? Okay. Thank you, Ms. Russell. I guess I'd like to just start by saying that looking over the notice of decision from the 2005, it would seem to me that the conditions 3, 4, 5, and 6 would still be good conditions. The first one, the limited to 100 feet, I guess the pole is limited to 100 feet, so I don't know if we need that. The second one obviously wouldn't work because it's not having things on the exterior, and this is for the exterior, but the 3 being in full compliance with applicable federal and state laws. 4, if the tower is abandoned, that anything that the company owns should be dismantled at their expense. 5, sufficient security barriers to prevent the tower entry to it, access by children, etc. I think that's still applicable. And 6, it should be subject to inspection by the town's fire marshal, building inspector, and code enforcement officer. I still see those as being kind of pretty viable conditions to add. Anyone have any thoughts on that?
Well, aren't those conditions already in effect?
This was the 2005 that they weren't able to get it done in the condition 7 was they had to have it within 12 months, and they did not, so this...
Oh, I thought that was the 2011 one.
Oh, yeah,
That wasn't
this one says 2005. The one I was looking at, I'm sorry.
Right, but the 2005 one did indeed happen.
The 2005, I think, was the original application, and those conditions came with the original 2005. I don't believe those conditions were placed in the 2011 application that was approved. It's perfectly reasonable to restate the conditions that you feel are important. I would point out that there is a chain link security fence around the site currently, and of course is contained within the concrete plant site as well. So I think all the conditions are met.
Okay, so 5. Okay. And who paid for the fence and all, and was it the people who have the actual tower?
The installation,
Okay.
yeah. There's power to the site. I mean, that's how it operates. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, I do have one question.
Yes, ma'am.
You indicated that the arms, I'm just going to call them that because I don't know the correct name, are somewhat shorter now. So is it no longer going to be an issue when it's going to have compliance with, or too close to the fence, or is there any danger of it being out of any of that 120 feet combined?
The antennas themselves are a little bit shorter. The offset from the pole is absolutely minimized. There won't be any impact on the fence. I mean, these things will be like quite close to the face of the pole, the antennas.
Okay, thank you.
I noticed that in Verizon's narrative, they refer to the addition of ground equipment within the compound, so there's more than just what's happening on the pole?
Right. So there's some electrical equipment and some Connex-type boxes that have equipment in it, and that's all part of it. As I said before, because the pole and the telecommunication feature is already approved, the concern that we have is the issue about adding the antenna to the exterior of the pole. If they were just going to add equipment, that we wouldn't see that as a zoning issue. They were just, improving the functionality of their tower. But because they're altering one of the conditions that was originally awarded in 2005, that's why we're bringing it forward to you. On the other hand, we think the alteration is so modest that it has no meaningful impact.
Unless there are any other questions or comments, I would entertain a motion.
Are you still thinking that, what do you think about conditions?
Obviously the security fence is already taken care of, although it obviously needs upkeep always, but I still see conditions 3, 4, 6 as being something that would not hurt to put on there, certainly.
And also 7, inspection within the 12 months? remains.
That could certainly be added. And we, if you wanted, we could add, I know that this came up last time, we had an issue with the cell tower, that making it a gray color so that there's just one color instead of the white at the top, although personally I don't think that's noticeable, but if someone thinks that's important, we could certainly add that too.
Would you like the finials on the top removed?
It doesn't matter to anyone. I'm looking at the picture and I don't even notice it.
Would you object if they did it anyway?
Certainly not. Anyone here object with that?
If we pass it, it would be with all of the conditions of the original permit in 2005, except for number 2?
Yeah, that's what makes sense to me.
Certainly. They could.
Is everybody ready?
So, all the...
Madam Chair, I move that we approve project number CU 13-01, based on the findings that it will not endanger the public health or safety, will not injure the value of adjoining or nearby properties, that it will be in harmony with the area in which it is located, and it will be in conformity with the town's comprehensive plan or other plans officially adopted by the town, and move further that the conditions of the original permit, except for number 2, the permit granted in 2005, the conditions would remain except for condition number 2. Could have been captured a little bit.
Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
And Ms. Zimbick, is this a roll call for you for a vote on?
Commissioner Waterman?
Yes.
Commissioner Stevens?
Yes.
Commissioner Clement?
Yes.
Commissioner Furby?
Yes.
Commissioner Lawson?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you. I'm not treating you on.
Afterwards. Very diplomatic. Okay. We do not have anything under new business. We do not have a community forum this evening. Do we have any reports from staff?
We will not be having a January meeting if you're all fine with that. Commissioner Furby will be out of town and we don't have anything on the agenda.
And I believe after that, in 2014, we have the schedule here, but meetings will now be at 6 o'clock, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
So 6 o'clock instead of 7 o'clock. All right. Any reports from the commission? Okay. Anyone want to move that we adjourn?
I so move.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, we'll adjourn. Thank you.